All my life, I felt like a failure. I was not smart. I was not strong. I was not lucky. I was not good at anything. When I was a child, I was always the last one to finish schoolwork. The teacher would ask a question, and I would never know the answer. Other kids laughed at me. I didn't have friends. I didn't talk much. I felt like a ghost in the classroom. At home, things were not better. My parents worked a lot. They were tired. They did not have time to talk with me. They told me to be quiet and stay out of trouble. So I stayed in my room and looked at the wall. Sometimes I cried. But no one saw. No one asked. When I became older, I tried many jobs. I worked in a factory. I cleaned floors. I moved boxes. But nothing felt right. My boss always said, "You are too slow," or "You don't understand." After a few months, they would tell me to leave. So I walked home again and again with no money and no hope. And I started to believe it. That I was nothing. That I would never be anything. Then something strange happened. It was small. Maybe it sounds stupid. But for me, it was the beginning of a new life. I was sitting in a small internet cafe. I went there sometimes just to watch videos and forget my problems for 1 hour. On the screen, I saw a man speaking English. I didn't know what he was saying. But he looked happy. He laughed. His face was full of light. I wanted to understand him. That feeling was new. I didn't want to watch a movie. I didn't want to laugh at a joke. I just wanted to understand. So I found the same video with subtitles. I watched again and again. Still, I didn't understand much. Just a few words. Today, happy, life, thank you. But those words felt like keys. Like maybe they could open something inside me. The next day, I watched again. A different video this time. A woman was talking about her morning routine. I didn't care about her morning. But I liked her voice. It was soft. Kind. And for the first time, I felt like someone was talking to me. So I listened. And I listened again. And then I did something I never did before. I took a small notebook and wrote the words I heard. One by one. I didn't know the meaning of most of them. But I wrote them anyway. Day by day, I kept watching, listening, writing. No one told me to do this. No one helped me. I didn't have a teacher. I didn't have a plan. But I had one thing I never had before, a reason. I wanted to understand English. I wanted to understand people. I wanted to understand life. After 2 weeks, I learned to say, "Hello. My name is Alex. I want to learn English." It was not perfect. But it was mine. I said those words out loud every day. In the bathroom. In the kitchen. In the street. People looked at me like I was crazy. I didn't care. Because I was changing. Something inside me was waking up. After 1 month, I found a free English group at the local library. I went there. I was scared. My hands were shaking. But I sat down and listened. A man next to me said, "Hi, I'm Mark." I said, "Hi, I'm Alex." And just like that, I was not alone. We didn't talk much at first. But every week I went back. I listened. I repeated. I learned. I didn't study grammar. I didn't do exercises. I just listened. I copied. I spoke. And something strange started to happen. One day, the teacher in the group said, "Alex, your English is getting better." I smiled for the first time in a long time. Soon, I could say more. I could ask simple questions. I could understand answers. I could laugh when someone told a joke. I could say, "Yes, me too," and people smiled. I was no longer a ghost. Then one day, Mark told me his company needed someone to help with deliveries. "You can speak a little English now," he said. "Maybe you can try." I was scared again. But I said yes. That job was not easy. But every day, I talked to people. I asked, "Where should I put this?" or, "Can you sign here?" I made mistakes. Many. But people were kind. They helped me. After 3 months, my boss said, "You are doing good. I like your attitude." No one had ever said that to me before. That day, when my boss said he liked my attitude, I walked home with a smile. I looked at the sky. I noticed the trees. I felt alive. I had a job. I was useful. And it was all because I started to learn English. That thought stayed in my head. Not a diploma. Not a big plan. Just small steps. One word. One sentence. One conversation at a time. My life was changing, and I knew why. I kept learning. Every day, even if I was tired, I watched videos. I listened to podcasts. I repeated new words out loud. I even talked to myself in English while walking home. Today was good. I worked hard. I want to rest. Simple things. But those simple words helped me think in English. They helped me feel like I belonged in a world I had never entered before. At work, I started to understand more. I answered phone calls. I helped customers. Sometimes I didn't understand everything. But I didn't panic anymore. I listened, I smiled, and I asked again. And people helped me. That was something new for me. People helped me. Before, I felt invisible. Now, people said, "Good job," or "Thank you, Alex," or "You're getting better." I started to believe it. One day, something unexpected happened. I was helping a woman carry a heavy box to her car. She smiled and said, "You're so kind. Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from here. But I'm learning English." She laughed. "Well, you're doing great." Her name was Emily. She came back the next week and looked for me. We talked again. Just 5 minutes. But the next week, she came again. We talked more. After 1 month, she asked if I wanted to have coffee with her. I didn't know what to say. Me? A coffee? With a woman like her? But I said yes. That day, I sat in a small cafe, drinking coffee with Emily. We spoke in English. I made mistakes. I said some words wrong. But she didn't care. She listened. She smiled. She said, "Your English is real. You speak with heart." I will never forget those words. We met again the next week. And the next. Then, she invited me to meet her friends. I was nervous. They were all speaking fast. But I told myself, just listen. Don't be afraid. So I listened. I smiled. I said a few things. They laughed at my jokes. Not at me, but with me. That night, Emily told me, "They liked you." I went home and looked in the mirror. And I said, "I like you, too." I never said that before. Months passed. I was still working. Still learning. Still speaking English every day. Then one morning, my boss said, "We need someone full-time. You want it?" I said yes without thinking. Full-time. A real job. A stable life. I moved to a better apartment. It was small but clean and warm. I bought a table, a chair, and a lamp. I bought a mirror, too. And every morning, I stood in front of it and said in English, "Let's go." That became my new habit. A new start. Every day. One day, Emily looked at me and said, "You've changed." I asked, "In a good way?" She said, "In the best way." We were walking in the park. The sky was orange with the evening sun. She took my hand. I didn't know what to say. So I just said, "Thank you." She looked at me and said, "Don't thank me. You did this. You changed your life." But deep inside, I knew the truth. Yes, I worked hard. But English opened the door. Without it, I would still be that man in the dark, sitting alone, waiting for life to change. Now, I was walking beside someone. Talking. Laughing. Living. The first time I brought Emily to my apartment, I was nervous. I cleaned everything 3 times. I bought flowers. I cooked pasta. It wasn't perfect, but it smelled good. When she walked in, she looked around and said, "It's cozy. I like it." I smiled. I made it myself. She touched my bookshelf. It was small, with just a few English books and 1 dictionary. "You read all these?" I nodded. Slowly. "But yes." She picked up a book. "You're really serious about English." I looked at her. It gave me my life back. And that was the truth. English gave me more than just words. It gave me a second chance. A voice. A place in the world. We had dinner. We talked. She stayed late. That night, after she left, I sat in silence. I thought about where I started. That broken man. Lost, tired, invisible. And now. Now I was building something. A job. A home. A relationship. And none of it felt fake. It felt real. Because I had built it myself, brick by brick, word by word. At work, things got better too. My English improved. I made fewer mistakes. I learned new phrases every day. I didn't study grammar. I didn't do homework. I just paid attention. I listened. I copied how others spoke. When someone said, "No worries," I started to say it too. When they said, "Take your time," I added that to my day. Every sentence was like a tool. And now I had a full toolbox. My manager noticed. One day, he said, "You're good with people. Have you thought about working at the front desk?" I was shocked. "You mean, speak to customers?" "Yes. You already do. Just officially." I was scared. What if I made a mistake? What if I didn't understand someone? But I said yes. I said yes because I didn't want to go back. Not to the silent man I was before. So I started. The first day, a man came in angry. His order was late. He spoke fast and loud. My heart beat like a drum. But I stayed calm. I said, "I understand. Let me fix it." He looked at me. "You speak well," he said. "Thank you for helping." I breathed again. And I smiled. That night, I walked home and told Emily. She was proud. "You're strong now," she said. "You don't hide anymore." She was right. I wasn't hiding. One Sunday afternoon, we were sitting in the park. Leaves were falling. Kids were playing. She turned to me. "Do you ever want to go back? To the old you?" I shook my head. That man didn't know how to live. He was waiting for something to change. But now I know, I had to change. She nodded. "Do you think it was all English?" I thought for a moment. "English didn't save me," I said. "But it opened the door. And once I stepped through, I found everything else." That evening, we walked home in silence. It was a good silence. The kind that feels full, not empty. Weeks passed. My confidence grew. At work, I trained a new guy. He asked me, "How did you learn English?" I smiled. "I just listened. A lot. And I never stopped." He laughed. "No teacher." "No teacher," I said. "Just life." He didn't believe me. But that was okay. I didn't need to prove anything. Not anymore. I didn't become a teacher. I didn't start a blog. I didn't tell others how to learn. Because this story is mine. I didn't learn English to teach. I learned it to live. And now, I was living. The day I asked Emily to marry me, it was raining. Not a heavy rain. Just soft drops on the window, like music. I didn't plan anything big. No speech. No fancy place. Just us, sitting in the kitchen, drinking tea. I looked at her and said, "I want you in my life. Always. Will you stay with me?" She didn't say anything for a moment. Then she took my hand. "I already did," she said. We got married 6 months later. A small wedding. Just a few people. Her family, a few friends from work, and one older man from the English group I used to go to. He smiled the whole time. At the wedding, I gave a short speech. I was nervous. Speaking in front of people still scared me. But I wanted to say it. So I stood up. Took a deep breath. I never thought I would have this. A family. A wife. A future. For most of my life, I felt like I was nothing. I thought I was broken. Then, one day, I heard English. I didn't understand it. But I wanted to. And that small want became something bigger. That want gave me words. Then hope. Then people. Then love. I didn't learn English to speak to a class. I learned it to speak to the world. And now, the world has spoken back. Some people clapped. Others wiped their eyes. Emily just smiled and said, "That was perfect." After the wedding, life was not a dream. It was real. There were bills to pay. Long days at work. Small fights. Bad sleep. But all of it felt different now. Because I had something to hold. I had a life. We moved to a bigger place. Not big, just enough for 2. Then later, 3. Our daughter was born on a cold December night. I held her in my arms and whispered, "Hello. I'm your father. I love you." In English. I don't know why I said it in English. It just felt right. Like the words had always been mine. Like they were the first words I wanted her to hear from me. When she grew older, she learned both languages. But she said her favorite was English. Because that's the language you talk to me in, she said. That broke me a little. In a good way. Years passed. I still worked hard. I still spoke English every day. At home. At work. In the world. People often asked, did you teach English? No. Did you help others learn it? No. Did you write a book? No. I just lived. And that was enough. I didn't become rich. I didn't become famous. But I became something else. I became whole. One day, I was walking past the same internet cafe where I first saw that video. The cafe was closed now. The windows dusty. The lights off. But I stopped. I looked at the door. I remembered that man on the screen. His voice. His smile. I whispered, thank you. Then I walked on. Because life does not wait. And now, I don't wait either. I take the step. I say the word. I hold the hand. I used to wait for someone to save me. But I saved myself. With a notebook. With a sentence. With a language I did not understand, but chose to trust.